too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.
She don't. I like that song. Hey, y'all, we gotta talk about this married to medicine. Why are these people in my head? Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, y'all, we gotta jump into this because y'all know I like me some Shamea, but this is not gonna be the channel where we just don't talk about things because we may like a person. Y'all do that, with y'all families and carry y'all generational curses out because you can be, objective to what you see and don't like, and you can still like the person. And that is exactly what I'm going to do because there has been some very interesting turn of events. Like I said, I like Shamea, but some of this stuff ain't adding up. And now I actually had to go back and re-look at some old episodes, and it's all starting to make sense.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
It's all starting to make sense because y'all know Real Housewives of Atlanta. What is this, season 16? So it's been a very long time. And in all honesty, Shamea has never been a peach until now. So although I would see her on the show, I really missed a lot of scenes with her in. And when I say I missed it, I watched it, but probably just didn't pay that much attention to some of the scenes that she was in. And I had to go back and look because I said, it's something about this lady that we are missing. Now we can still like her, but we're going to talk about the episodes. We review the show. And in this last episode here, Shamea surprised me because I'm like, I don't think Shamea is who I thought she was. Now, granted, we don't know these people, but we develop like and dislike for them based on what we see on the show. And I can tell you guys right here, this was a no for Shamea right here. This situation with her and Angela Oakley, and what Shamea had to say to Angela Oakley told me exactly who she was. Now, I'm not saying this woman not a good wife. I ain't saying none of that. I'm just saying the interworkings of who she are inside when it comes to men is not who I thought.
The text that you sent over, I honestly don't even know what part I had in making you feel some sort of way.
Your best friend says to you, I should her husband. I was looking to you as a married woman,
right,
to check her.
Y'all were at each other's.
Okay, so let's kind of stop it right there, okay? I'm going to say it again. I felt like Angela Oakley's acts was pretty reasonable. So are we saying, at this age that we are allowing our friends to do stuff that we know is totally wrong? Like, we're not 20, 18, 19-year-old girls and boys. We are full grown adults with Shamea has a husband. So you don't think that is a problem for you to make light of your friend saying she gonna F somebody's husband? That's a problem. And again, guys, when people act certain ways or they speak certain ways or even what they do, it shows you who they are as a person. And this showed us who Shamea is as a person. Now, maybe who she is as a person when it comes to men is completely different. Maybe she's like, look, I'm going to get the money by all means. Maybe. I mean, I know, and I just found out this on this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Shamea said she was married before. She said she had a rich husband. Now, I don't have nothing against nobody having a rich husband, but guess what? You got to seek them jokers out because they ain't everywhere. So you have to have a plan in place to actually meet them. Not saying there's nothing wrong about it, but let's use our common sense. Let's use our common sense. 1 + 1 is 2, but it ain't adding up to 2 here. So something in the milk is not clean. Now, what I wanted to do is go over Shamea and Porsha's relationship. Now, again, I had to go back and watch some of the other episodes because I forgot that, Shamea and Porsha, they've fallen out before.
When she was going through her divorce with Cordell, she slept on my couch, hell, in my bed. Then the rumors started, and she didn't help dispel them.
Okay, let's start with the rumors. There was a rumor, and I believe, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the rumor was that Shamea and Kandi had something going on, allegedly. That was the rumor. Shamea was upset because she said Porsha did not come out and say that was a lie. But they were saying the same thing about Porsha. So I don't know if it will be Porsha's place to say that's not true because, I mean, how will Porsha know if it was true or if it wasn't true? Y'all understand where I'm going with this? So when I go back and look at some of the stuff they were saying about Shamea, they were saying the same thing about Porsha. So it kind of led me to kind of think a little bit differently. I said, well, perhaps, Shamea was, at one point for the streets as well, but obviously you get married, you can't stay for the streets, which is different from what we saw with Porsha because they saying she remained for the streets, even being, a wife. Now I know y'all gonna be like, Simon is, I'm not talking about Simon. Whatever y'all say, his scammer ways or whatever the federal government said, I'm speaking of just these two individuals in their relationship. So let's continue. Wait, let me add it back up there.
You what?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They best friend.
Wait, Kandi is you. You a motherfucking lie. But you think that too?
I mean, she close to both of them. I got engaged, and she wasn't supportive. And then I got married.
Now, I wanted to, again, bring that back up because that's kind of odd that, people were saying that she was messing around with Kandi allegedly because, I mean, we don't hear that about Kandi and everybody. I mean, we did hear something like that with regards to Kandi and Porsha, which is Shamea's friend. So y'all see where I'm going with this. I don't know if this stuff is true. I'm just simply saying and going back, reviewing some stuff like, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute, because maybe we're missing something about Shamea. Just maybe we are missing something. And then the episode where Shamea, for the life of sweet Jesus, did not understand. See, here's the thing that I learned with people. Their belief system is their belief system. You cannot make somebody see something that's blue and be like, it's yellow. Like, people see what they see. And I've learned that. Like, I don't even argue with people, with regards to certain things. The way they see it is the way that they see it. Shamea saw nothing wrong with what her friend said. Y'all pay attention.
When you think ain't nobody watching, we're having a good time. They started talking trash about Ange. Big Ange. Yeah, about Big Ange.
Angela was just a casualty of war that night. It is what it is.
Honestly, we were having a kiki about her because she gave me such a hard time the whole trip.
Kelly, you asked the question initially.
So my question was, why did she take that one?
So they're getting into, you guys watch the show, all of this is going to make sense. So they're getting into what led up to what Porsha said. But the part that I want y'all to pay attention to is no accountability for Shamea. Now, Shamea is not in charge of Porsha, but if you saw a child get run over by a car and there wasn't a way that you can stop the child, would you stop the child and say, you know, you just want to save them? Okay, y'all gonna say that don't apply. But what I'm simply trying to say is it doesn't need to be your situation to know what you see is wrong. Like, it doesn't have to be your situation. So let's let this play out.
The world wants to know. I don't think the world got that answer.
So everybody was like, yeah, what's up her ass? And then, you know, we just started talking
So you could hear, you're in your room, paint the picture for me.
So the picture is, I left the dinner remorseful. If I offended you in any way, I apologize. I prayed about it and I went to sleep. And I think it was just.
And again, if you guys watched the show, you saw, you know, Angela Oakley sitting down and she had a discussion with the ladies. And what I love about Angela Oakley is she'll take on all of them. She ain't complaining about it. She basically gonna say what she gotta say and key and gone about her business. And that is exactly how it should be. So Angela is simply explaining what happened. And then she decided, look, I'm gonna go to my room. And this is what she's saying.
God himself, who was just like, wake up, baby. This is what you're dealing with.
If you wasn't invited to this moment, you should not have been peeking through the window. And that's what Angela was doing. You peeked up, roll the window down.
Now, isn't this crazy of Britt? Because if you had have been minding your business and leaving Kenya alone, maybe people could say then maybe she wouldn't have showed your pictures. Like, come on, people, y'all gotta, like, if you're going to cry wolf in your situation, then it seems that you would have a little bit of humility for somebody else, because people say the same thing about you, Britt.
Oh my God, girl.
I don't even think that she overheard us. I think she was ear to the window.
That's how y'all gonna spend it, eavesdropping. They called my name.
Eavesdropping is crazy.
They called my name.
They didn't know your room was right there.
They didn't use their brain cell.
So in that situation, like I, originally stated, Angela is pretty much just explaining what happened. But what you guys would notice in that clip is you'll notice that Shamea was not. She was like, girl, so you guys were going at each other. So if we're going at each other, just tell me, somebody, please tell me, somebody, please help me out. Why is that a reason to say I'm a F your husband? And if you guys were paying attention, Porsha referenced this woman's husband before. So it's seeming a little weird considering what everybody is saying about her background, and yet on TV yet again you are mentioning a lady's husband. That is very weird. And y'all, we cannot forget about this. Let's let that sit there for a moment. If y'all know what this is, put a 1 in the chat. If you know what this is that I have on the screen, I need you to put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Wait a minute. Let me add it back up there, what I just did. If you know what this is, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. I'm going to explain it. So you guys know, Simon and Fallon was married, and then we saw him with Porsha. Well, what people had been saying is that Shamea hooked them up. Now, Porsha did tell the story where she sent him a message on Instagram. He was married at the time. She said she sent him a marriage, but she said she sent it because he was going through a divorce and she wanted to see how he was doing. I don't know if I believe that, because this message says, thank you, bestie, best matchmaker ever. People are saying that Shamea was the one that hooked Porsha up with Simon because Simon and her husband are familiar with each other. Now, I don't know if they're really friends, but that is what they saying. Allegedly, Shamea's husband and Porsha's not soon to be ex-husband, they were familiar with each other. So it brings my point home. If Shamea didn't play around like it's being stated, and we're going to get into that, why would she hook a man that is married up with Porsha? Did she do it? If so, why would she do that? And if she didn't do it, why did Porsha say that? Thank you, bestie. Best matchmaker ever. Shamea didn't say, girl, what you talking about? Oh, what you talking about, Willis? What you talking about? She said, up and mother loving stuck. Word on the street, too. I heard people saying that was they messing around, that they used to mess and married men together or rich men together. I don't know. This is all alleged, but what we do know, because I had to go back and look at some of this, because I don't remember nothing from no 10 years ago, especially where, you know, where it comes and Shamea is involved, because she had a very small role. But as I went and watched those old episodes, it kind of reminded me that Shamea and Porsha, they more alike than they are similar.
People say Shamea sleep with everybody's husband, but who talk about that?
Mic drop. Mic drop. Now, this was, I don't even remember what episode that was. Phaedra said, so let me take y'all back. What I learned from watching some of the older episodes is that Phaedra and Shamea knew each other from way back when. Now, Shamea is saying Phaedra, allegedly Shamea put out the rumor that Phaedra was the head in charge, whatever. Phaedra was, I don't know. Don't know. I mean, we have still never discovered anybody that ever slept with Phaedra other than Apollo. So I don't know. The word on the street is not that Phaedra is the host. I've not heard that. But Phaedra said that Shamea was sleeping with people's husband, which is very interesting because isn't that what they say her bestie does?
People say Shamea sleep with everybody's husband, but who talk about that?
I don't know, y'all. This is starting to look like the Bopsy twins, because like I said, I'm really starting to go another way with Shamea, because now that I'm really seeing her personality and some things that I miss, I'm understanding why she rides so hard for Porsha, because maybe they got a bunch of secrets that she wants Porsha to keep. Shamea goes into how when the rumor about her with Kandi was put out in the universe, that Porsha did nothing to say that it wasn't true. Now, I'm just using my brain. If my friend, let's say I'm close friends with somebody and a rumor came out that my friend was messing with my other friend, I wouldn't be able to say that it's not true, because how would I know unless I'm there? How would I know who somebody is with? Because I wouldn't be there. Like, I would be asking like everybody else. So when Shamea says that Porsha did nothing, because I'm going to be fair, I'm not a fan of Porsha, but I don't know how Porsha would be able to confirm who Shamea is, doing whatever activity she's doing with. I don't know how Porsha would be able to come out and say that that's not true. In fact, they were saying the same thing about Porsha. So did Shamea come out and say, oh, that's not true? Shamea gets into this story about, during the time she was going to get married, that Porsha did not come out and say anything with regards to what was being said about her in the streets, with regards to her and Kandi. Again, I don't understand how Porsha would have been able to dispel those rumors.
Cordell, she slept on my couch, hell, in my bed. Then the rumors started, and she didn't help dispel them.
You know I ain't getting anybody.
You what? Yeah,
Not only did Porsha not dispel the rumors, she had a conversation with Phaedra, and she pretty much co-signed what Shamea was saying. She didn't say wasn't happening. Yeah, because she was saying it was happening, allegedly. Porsha was at this table saying that it was happening, boo.
Wait, Kandi is you. You a mother.
If you guys can see at the table, you have Sheree, you have Phaedra, and you have Porsha. Now, Porsha is sitting at the very table with those ladies and they're having a discussion. So what do you mean, Shamea? Porsha isn't saying anything with regards to it's not happening because Porsha said it happened.
But you think that too?
I mean, she close to both of them.
I got
What y'all think?
engaged, and she wasn't supportive. And then I got married, and she took family trips.
So, like I said, I don't know, but something ain't adding up, and it is definitely all starting to make a whole lot of sense. It's starting to make a whole lot of sense with this situation with Porsha and Shamea. Did Shamea set up Porsha with a married man? That's what it looked like to us, because who was the best matchmaker ever? She says, Shamea. Thank you, bestie. Best matchmaker ever. That is from her relationship and ultimately her marriage to Simon. Wasn't Simon married during the time? So, I mean, are we going to sit here and act like that we don't know what this means? Are we going to sit here and act like we don't know what this means? And then what about this?
People say Shamea sleep with everybody's husband, but who talk about that?
People say that Shamea sleeps with everybody's husband. Why Phaedra say that? Like, I don't know, y'all. But 1 + 1 is 2, but it's giving 6 here. Something just is not adding up. And then we must not forget, on the show, we watched the show. Did you watch the show? Well, Shamea is not responsible for Porsha's actions, but I don't know one married woman that would be okay with a woman who already has the name of a side chick, allegedly still messing with people's husbands, but you don't see a problem with her saying, I'm a F your husband. Make it make sense.
This is her talking, and I'm not saying that that's okay. Okay, so it ain't my fight. It ain't my fight.
It ain't my fight. I understand you know, Shamea saying it's not her fight, but that's not what she was asking you. That's not what she was asking you. She didn't ask you to let it be your fight. She only asked you to hold your friend accountable. And holding your friend accountable is simply, bitch, you was dead wrong. You shouldn't have said that. Or I laughed. It was funny, but I really shouldn't. I'm so sorry. But not even really wanted to give her that. You know why? Because when your behavior is the way that it is, you are justified in it because that is who you are. Not saying that I don't like Shamea, because I know some of the weirdos will be in the comments saying that. I'm just talking about what we see with our own eyes. And something just is not adding up here. It's not adding up. And I believe one of the reasons why we see Shamea so indebted to Porsha is because Porsha hold her damn secrets. You see, sometimes when we done some effed up stuff, not me, because I ain't really done nothing too effed up that I can't tell you anyways, but some people have, and they feel like I cannot let this person go, because if I do, they gonna tell everything about me. Everything. Because Phaedra already said that Shamea sleeps with people's husbands. Why did Phaedra say that? I mean, this is Porsha's friend. Phaedra and Porsha are friends. Did Porsha tell Phaedra that? But we're going to see on the episodes where Shamea is breaking down crying. And when I saw that, I said, that is weird. because I ain't breaking down crying for no chick. I don't have it in me. I just didn't understand that. I mean, even my sister, like, girl, bye. You know, I'll talk to you later. But the fact that Shamea was hooping and hollering as if she had lost everything, the house, the clothes, the car, the husband, the kids. I don't know. This don't make sense to me, y'all.
Never allow anybody to talk down about my friendship. And apparently that's not reciprocated. I've never allowed anybody to.
What is that giving? It's something, y'all, that we don't know. And I'm sure it's a lot that we don't know. But I'm going to leave y'all with this thought. Do y'all believe that once upon a time that Shamea actually slept with people's husbands? Because keep in mind, Phaedra said it, and Phaedra and Porsha are close. Where did Phaedra get it from? Porsha also sat at a table with Phaedra talking about how Shamea allegedly was having some type of relationship with Kandi. And and Porsha actually was in the conversation, in my opinion, not one to say it didn't happen, but one actually co-signing that it did.